the show. Let us meet our panel. He is a Harvard University professor of Afro-American Studies and Philosophy of Religion. His book is called, there it is, Restoring Hope, Conversations on the Future of Black America. Cornel West. Sir, good to meet you. How you doing? Nice to see you. He's a master of metaphysics and spirituality. Wow, and the author of The Healing of America, Marianne Williamson. Wow. Hello, Master. How are you? Nice to see you. She stars on Suddenly Susan and hosts Premium Blend, coming soon to a Comedy Central near you, Kathy Griffin. Hello, young lady. Good to see you. And he has been making multi-platinum rock and roll for over 2 decades. His new CD is Marching to Mars, Sammy Hagar. Sammy, good to see you as always. All right. Well, let's talk about what I was mentioning in the monologue about this, the McCoys. Now, look at this. This is the, can you see this? This is the Time magazine cover. Can you get a closer shot of that? You can see that okay, well, imagine, if you will, that they've cleaned her up here on this one. Okay, and on this one, she looks absolutely fantastic. And it kind of brings up the selling of this family and whether they are participating. They were on Dateline earlier tonight while their kids were in intensive care.
And they were on Today this morning.
Today this morning? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. Okay, the father said, we are not on display. Now, they have been given a van, a house, a lifetime supply of apple juice, a lifetime supply of Pampers, 2 of everything Maytag makes. My question is, can you have it both ways? Can you take all this stuff and then say, but you know what, we're not for sale?
I think so. I think these people, that's a huge financial responsibility for a family that probably isn't extremely wealthy, and I think the gifts are good from the American people. I think it shows some goodwill.
They're not from the American people. They're from corporations who probably want something in return.
But I don't think they have to put their children on display for that. I think they can have the gifts and not have to do it. Personally, I mean, if I was a father, I'd be the same way.
I think it also raises a question of just how difficult it is to be a parent these days. It's the ultimate non-market activity in our market culture. You have to care, nurture, sacrifice, and they got 7 young kids, and each life is precious.
Plus, they're going to have 2 of those Maytag repairmen. I mean, that's 9.
I hadn't looked at them.
Yeah. 2 more jumpsuits.
But if you make a contract with the devil...
But why do you call that a contract with the devil, to receive a gift? That shouldn't be considered a contract with the devil.
Because there's always a quid pro quo. And if you're saying, on the one hand, you know what, we want our privacy, on the other hand, you're going on all these talk shows. I mean, they've been on more shows than Marv Albert.
I wasn't under the impression they were saying so much about obviously they're not unwilling to discuss it, but they're saying that they're not going to allow the children's lives to become some sort of tabloid drama. And I think that that's reasonable.
Overwhelmed.
Yeah,
What is the
nothing like this has ever happened to them
alternative?
before.
That's the thing. What are the options that they would have? They need some help, just like most parents need some help.
And it's nice that people are showing up for them and being generous.
And here we are on TV. Here we are on TV. I think everyone has that thing inside them that likes, you know, attention like that, and so they're getting wound up in it, but I don't think that they're going to turn around. I think they're right by not turning around and saying we're not going to sell these kids to the media.
But they are selling their kids to the media. What is going on the Today Show?
What are they getting besides products that any corporation could just write off?
Well,
they're not getting a lot of money, and they didn't get a house, they only got a plot of land.
I think it's the corporations more than the people. See, I think the corporations are kind of forcing this thing and getting all this publicity for it, and these people are going, wow, this is great. Oh, yeah, thank you very much. And it's probably it hasn't clicked to them yet that maybe there is a return thing, but I don't know, I wouldn't do it if I was them.
How long do you think it's going to be before America moves on to the next thing?
Because well, I think that's the issue. It's really not about what they owe. It's about the fact that I think the press seizes on a story like this as a way of deflecting our attention from things that really matter in this society. That's really, I think, pointing to them is
But they don't
rather
have to
unfair.
participate in it, and yet
But
they
what if
are.
they participate
You
in
don't
it
have to go on Dateline. You don't have to go on the Today Show.
Well,
If you
why
really
not?
mean we're not on
That's
display,
true.
then you
That's
shouldn't make yourself on display. I mean,
they
it's
want to
not a
educate
law.
parents.
They can't subpoena you to come on the Today Show. You actually have to volunteer
There's
for
certainly
it.
a
Regis
human
does
interest
subpoena, though.
story.
Regis and carefully subpoena.
Well, let's put it like this. I bet you they didn't call the shot on the cover of that magazine like saying, fix my teeth, because, you know,
Right.
that's something the magazine decided to do. I think they're being exploited.
Yes.
Partly that they don't really know what's going on. It's pretty hard out there when the media grabs you and throws you out there. It's like, wow,
And
it's
I think that's
fantastic
the
in some
point.
ways and scary in others.
I think the point here is that there's this message that's been developed over the last couple of decades, mainly created by the media, that if your life interfaces with the public at all, that you are therefore fair game for any kind of, sometimes even the most vile exploitation. If you have something that matters in the public and people want to hear about it and you want to tell your story, that doesn't mean that therefore anybody can do anything and say anything, and I think that's the line they're
Oh,
trying
how
to hold.
naive.
Hey, we all wish we were on the cover of that
If you,
magazine.
if you,
No, that's stupid.
if you get in the sewer, you better know how to swim with the
Well,
turd.
Bill,
wanna
you take that back.
I want to talk to you about that.
You are just throwing down.
No, I think
No
you're
one
bringing
for-
up, I'm not naive at all. I know what a steward is
I'm
there.
super jaded.
What
I used
I'm
to be a
saying-
hooker, and I've seen it all. Go ahead, Marianne.
All I'm saying is, I'm saying that the public domain should not be a sewer. And what's happening in America today is
Well.
that any public conversation, because you're such fair game, the best and the brightest among us, our own most noble selves, are scared to get out there. So what you've got in the public conversation is the worst that America has to offer instead of the best. And this isn't about those particular people, but for the whole culture it's damaging. And to say, oh, you're naive, that's what it's like out there. What if you're not naive, you just don't like the way it is out there, and it wasn't always
Then
like
don't
that out there.
participate. Don't pose for the cover of Time and Newsweek, because if you do, then you know that they have the right to change your teeth.
Yeah, but my conversation is... Yeah,
You know-
well, I think there's a much more important conversation than just that couple. I mean...
And
so
what would that be?
What I said before, which is that the public domain shouldn't have to be a
But
place that's so
shouldn't isn't
mean-spirited.
is. You know what? I mean, that's the world we live in.
But the world we
Shouldn't-
live in, you know, and this is, now you're going to call me ridiculously naive, not just hopelessly naive, but ridiculously, but I think that it is a responsible behavior. I think that's what Cornell talks about, what many of us are talking about, which is just
Okay.
because something is the way it is,
We will
world
talk,
we
doesn't
live
mean
in.
it has
talk
to be.
about it, but we got to take a commercial because we are part of that culture.